Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Good morning and welcome to Ways Breakfast. # what are you saying? It's Friday. The weekend is just around the corner and I can feel the energy in the air already. My name is Oluchi Omenka and as always, it's a great pleasure to be your anchor for today. Guess what? I'm not alone. I came with the fabulous ladies. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. You heard what I said. Like, it's Friday. I'm super excited. The weekend is around the corner. Who doesn't like Friday?
Maybe
That person
nobody.
is living under the rock because Friday has to be my
Or
favorite
maybe
day.
living in a very bad home.
Maybe you're living in a bad
That's
home.
too deep now.
No, it
bruh.
sounds like you don't like to go home. I read a book this year where someone said, oh, she doesn't like going home on Fridays because she's married to one person, doesn't speak to her, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
so
that must be
Fridays
sad.
are always like traumas for her. So is it that you're not staying in a good home where, oh, you're going home to meet this person, you're going home to meet this situation that you do not like. So it happens.
But Friday is just that start of the weekend. And weekend gives the vibe of rest, calmness, enjoyment. Owambe, if you're in Lagos, Nigeria. How about you, God's Beauty? What's your plan for the weekend?
So, unlike usual, I really don't have a plan. I want to rest, but it's not looking like I'm going to.
To rest.
So,
Work is still lined up. Shala,
Yes.
please tell me you have
Always
something
take your time to
exciting.
rest.
Let this day be exciting today.
Yeah, I saw something online that tomorrow is National Cinema Day, so there will be 1,000 naira tickets across film houses.
Thank you for this update. It's interesting.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So if you're interested in going to a cinema tomorrow, please go. It's 1,000 naira. They're everywhere in Lagos. I don't know if it's extended to other states rather, but tomorrow is National Film Day, National Cinema Day. So free cinema ticket. So 1,000 naira cinema ticket. I might be considering it, but I'm also thinking of the crowd. Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people there. And
There
I
might
think
be a lot
watching
of
movie
crowd.
in cinema.
But I also think the wait worth it because no matter how long, during Christmas period when you go pay 7K to see blockbuster movie, the crowd are always too
and
much.
for me, I feel
So
like for me,
just
it's going to be beautiful. The fact that you have
No, it's not
everybody
usually
there.
beautiful.
Yeah,
The
because the
noise
reactions.
can be
the noise,
so
the
annoying.
reaction.
Again, it probably depends on where you're going to. But I know for sure that the few ones I've gone to where people are like there, it's just the reaction. So when something is funny, everybody's laughing at the same time. For me, it makes sense.
That's if you're watching
and-
a comic movie.
No,
you get it.
even
But if it's very
regardless,
serious,
even when it's a serious movie and everybody, or maybe even horror movie, and everybody's like, yeah. For me, that's what make the movie. Because, why am I watching a movie and there's no reaction?
if I'm
totally
watching a movie
agree
with
with her.
complex storyline and plot,
No matter
I need
what.
that
Regardless,
calmness.
no matter
except
what.
I've been to a private cinema before, was it 4D or 5D, where we're enjoying the movie. I mean, it felt as though we were in the movie.
Exactly.
It was a
Because
little
of-
bit boring because
Okay.
we're not just, it was a private cinema, right? But compared to when we go to the public cinemas, like the likes of ICM or I was almost IMAX and all of them, you will see people, you see lovebirds. They, oh my lord.
come on,
You will see annoying people.
the
You see someone that's
reactions.
trying to film it. You will see someone that is always putting a jasa. You
Yes,
see someone
now.
that says, shut up, we're in the cinema.
God
It's
bless you.
always very
I feel
fun.
like that's what actually make the movie. Because
Yeah,
why
I
am I
agree.
leaving my house? I can literally just watch it in my house, yeah? So why am I going to, a cinema and I'm not getting the reactions?
So
It's
in
not gonna
one
be
word,
fun.
if you have nothing planned for this weekend, you can go and watch movie for 1,000 naira only. Just say I didn't tell you. That's why you have to keep watching this channel.
Amen.
Abi?
Amen.
Thank you very much for that update. We have an exciting discussion lined up for today, but first, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is another call. Please go to our official Upgrade TV. Make sure you do that right now. Hit the subscribe button, like, and share the link with your friends and family. So today, we're talking about something that is powering the future, and that is tech training that powers innovation. We'll be discussing how the rise of technology in Africa is driven by the growth of tech talent through innovative training programs. And our guest today is a trailblazer in this field. We can't wait to hear his insights. So stick around. It's going to be an exciting show. We'll take a short break now and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Before we dive into our main topic, let's take a quick look at the headlines making waves this morning. We have updates from The Punch, The Guardian, and The New York Times. The Punch major headline reads, Military mans state boundaries, EFCC goes after vote buyers. Security agencies in show of force, government declares holiday, materials arrive 18 local government areas, INEC upbeat of success. And below that, it says, address ticket refunds in 24 hours. Federal government tells NCAA. Lagos cleric abductors demand 30 million naira ransom. FX crisis, PZ cousin to sell Nigeria's subsidiaries. And above that, it says, NECO invites 40 schools over mass cheating in SSC. Farmer header clashes, federal government's panel recommends open grazing and ranching. Dangote officials, refiners tackle marketers over imported PMS, that's petrol. And Damagum, 4 governors back Wike support for PDP chair. I was going to take a very serious story, but then, as an academia that I am, I have to take note of this one that says, NECO invites 40 schools over mass cheating in SSCE. You know, mass. This is mass cheating. We know how exam malpractice has been over the years.
Yeah.
And it's not really surprising. Why are they inviting them now? I mean, it's always recurring. I mean,
Probably it's too much now.
at this point, you almost even doubt the authenticity of some people's senior school
Records.
certificate examination
Yeah.
results because you do not know. It's jam that you can probably use to, check how people are really studying. So back to the major story that I wanted to read, the Dangote refinery story. It says here that domestic crude oil refiners and officials at the Dangote refinery have kicked against the commencement of the importation of petrol. You know, earlier this week, we saw that some marketers have gone ahead to import petrol because of the delay with the Dangote
with the
refinery
Dangote,
and all. So Dangote refinery and, NNPC as well, they've kicked against this importation. And their reason is that some of these imported fuels were of low quality when compared with the ones produced by the Dangote refinery. And he also mentioned something about the dollar. I can't find that story right now, but okay, I can't find that particular detail right now. But importing this fuel is putting some this strain on our naira and it's helping the dollar instead. I quite agree with this focus of Dangote because I think a bit of patience is needed. What these guys imported was over 100 million barrels or something like that. I mean, that's a whole lot of strain. We're trying to even get our feet back with everything that happened in the past few months and it's still happening now. Importing would not have really done anything better. And I read somewhere else that said that some people, individual marketers are a bit scared of monopoly that is going to happen with the whole Dangote refinery.
I'm just waiting for you to land. We'll finish.
And I also saw a news where you said they caught an NNPC, what did they call their truck? They caught an NNPC truck moving stolen crude oil.
Wow.
Yeah, it was in the news. I think it was in Punch.
That's a very big
Very big offense.
NNPC, wow.
So now, I understand the whole place Dangote is coming from, but somehow I feel like it's just giving an excuse, right? Just, trying to make sure that people don't, he himself sells. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you tell people that are importing from outside the country down to Nigeria, if whatever they are buying from outside Nigeria to Nigeria is cheaper than what Dangote is selling, what do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to do? Because, I mean, you talk about this monopoly thing. To me, honestly speaking, I really don't see why it is even necessary in the first place. Why is Dangote selling to NNPC? And why is NNPC now having to sell to other marketers? The truth is, Dangote is making money, yeah? He cannot put all those money in his market or in the refinery and not gain. Yeah. So definitely, he has to ensure that he gains first before he thinks about any other person.
But the rule of business does not go like that.
Wait now. Now he sells to NNPC. NNPC have revenues to pay. Don't forget that it was in the news that I think Tinubu was saying that they haven't paid something. Yeah. So they have revenues to pay to the government, right? They have tax to pay. So that would also make them increase the amounts that they bought from, what's the name now? From Dangote. Now they're not selling to the individual marketers. Those ones too have their own money to pay. So it's we that have cars that are going to suffer for it. So those people that are now importing from outside the country down to Nigeria, trust me, because they did it because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. So that's an excuse, actually. If they want everybody to be buying from NNPC, they have to ensure that whatever that's coming from Dangote is a lot cheaper. It just takes us back to why have the government not make sure that the refineries that we have in Nigeria, why are they not working?
Okay,
I really monopoly what?
I really do not understand the oil and gas sector between between Dangote Refinery, NNPCL, and the IPMAN. Yes, I really do not understand what is transpiring between them. But one thing I know is that everybody is trying to make as much profit as possible. That's the thing. And the final consumer, which is you and I, transport workers, drivers, car owners, and even people that jump buses, we are the one that are going to suffer it. But I feel like whatever the thing will be, let's promote Nigeria. Even if Dangote is trying to cut our head with the price, let's still try to promote ourselves. The same way we promoted Ofada Rice by ourselves, grown by ourselves, eating by ourselves. Let's promote this thing. Let's enjoy it. For the first thing, we're not supposed to be importing anymore. To be honest, let's close whatever importing border that is coming from. Let's close it for now. Dangote, want to have no problem. Let's enjoy it. And if we did now see the value of the fuel we are buying from Dangote for 1,200 naira, then we cannot think of something.
When you say value, what are you talking about?
I don't even know. Maybe the good quality of the fuel.
What
maybe
quality, man?
But God's
all the time they have been importing. What happened? I mean, car where go spoil, go spoil. Forget this so quality or not.
How about
okay, you guys,
it takes a bad fuel to knock your engine or to make your car go bad. So you don't have to go and take out your engine and clear out the entire fuel that's gone inside. So I think it's better for us. One of my rule in life is quality over before thinking of money. So if this cup is going to cost me 1,200, I will not think of, okay, when I go to Balog Market, I will see it for 700 or so. I will think of 1,500 quality. Please bring it for me. So if Dangote is ready to give us quality, let's act or let's pretend as if...
Then people should stop complaining. I don't want to hear anything that has to do with price of fuel is expensive anymore. It seems you are looking for quality.
No matter what may come, the price of fuel is still pricey, and it will be pricey. Let's not act like Dangote is the second Jesus.
To say something. If this happens, like if these people keep importing fuel, the dependency that we have on the dollar is going to skyrocket, and it's going to cause a strain again on inflation and everything. So the fact that that sector can even be managed and controlled, and our naira can be encouraged, is why I think that importing of fuel should be put on a hold. Firstly, so there are just different ways to see this.
All right.
Let's go to the Guardian.
Moving straight to the Guardian newspaper. Edo decides 2024. People, politics, power, and their godfathers on a war path. And there are pictures of Akpata, Aswe Igodalo, Osek Ebolo, I hope the pronunciation is right, among others, trying to run a race. I love the animation is used to describe the political, the Guba polls. The next one says, NNPCL marketers return to PMS import over shortfall from Dangote. PDP crisis, more cracks in governor's rank as BOT meets NAS caucus. Anxiety over Edopo as police vow to descend on troublemakers. Outrage as EFCC's Bello arrest saga mock 80.2 billion fraud charges. Next story reads, appeal court approves federal government homogale out of court settlement. Fubara's loyalists to contest council election under APP. And the last story reads, court orders Belema Oil to pay $21 million, 10 billion naira contract debt to BPG and CNPC. That's it from my own table.
All right, let's go to the New York Times.
All right, let's quickly leave the African, the African continent down to the international space. And by the left side of the newspaper, we have for militant, toll in mental and physical blast puncture, image as powerful Israeli foe. And next to that, we have new explosion rock, Hezbollah, leaving 20 dead, walkie-talkie erupt, Beirut buildings in Bonn, Beirut buildings born in second coordinated attack in 2 days. But the right side of the newspaper, big Fed rate cut shows optimism, turning from inflation to protecting jobs. Next to that, Trump's post-election threat unnerves officials. Bottom of the newspaper, California mountain town resident defile rigs. All right, next to that as well, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has how failures by Secret Service led gunman near Trump rally. So the headline I want to quickly touch on is the Trump's post-election threat on nerve officials. So Donald Trump is threatening to take severe legal action against election officials he believes are corrupt. Emphasis on he believes are corrupt. He claims that if he wins further future elections, he will ensure these officials face harsh penalties, including long prison sentences. Now, this kind of story is troubling because it resembles behavior seen in countries where democratic norms are weaker, where leaders use threats and accusation, more like authoritarian government, something like that, to control or intimidate. Experts are concerned that Trump's threats could harm trust in the electoral system and undermine democratic values. So let me not quickly judge, but so what the newspaper is just trying to say in essence is Trump believes that there are certain people that take care of this election, like the election officials. He believes that most of them are corrupt. And he has already told them beforehand that immediately I become president, people should not worry. You will see yourselves in prison because I'll be sentencing you there. So I don't want to just say, how can someone that is a president, but again, it might just be New York Times being biased, right? But let's see, finger crossed, if this kind of things will take place if he, becomes the president of the United States.
All right, that's all we can take for the headline stories this morning. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, go straight to the hot topic for today. So stay with us, we'll be right back shortly.
Imagine the world where the voices of the youth finally get the spotlight they deserve.
Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the groundbreaking show where young minds unite together to tackle issues that truly matter.
We're flipping the script on traditional morning talk shows, and this is your chance to hear the youth speak out.
We're not just skimming headlines, we're diving deep into the heart of topics that impact us all.
From politics to governance, tech innovations, mental health, and trendy social issues.
We don't just discuss, we ignite conversations that inspire change and spark action.
Join us every morning for fresh, young, and vibrant perspectives
that empowers the next generation to make a difference.
Start your day right with Ways Breakfast, because when the youth speak, the world listens. Ways Breakfast, weekdays at 8 a.m. live on Ogebe TV.
Are you saying that they are contributing to the problem of overpricing within the Nigerian environment or in the industry at large?
I'll come this way, that a lot of these challenges being experienced also, we can't take out the place of the agents away from it. Because the higher the price, the higher their commission. In some cases, there are landlords that have said, oh, this house, I'm taking 5 million naira per annum from it, for instance. and the agent is saying,
I can get it for
I
7
can get
million
it
for
for
you.
7. It's now, your friends are taking, all around, your neighbors are taking 10 million, 8 million. And the landlord say, oh, anyway, if you can get me just 5 million, I am okay. If you get anything other than that, it's yours. So some seem to mark it up. And if the regulations we have, if we actually enforce it, then those can be caught. Now, we won't take out the fact that these things happen, and some of them may be as a result of probably title. Title makes this pricing to go up. Like you see a place where he has probably a certificate of occupancy, and whether individual or global certificate of occupancy that covers an entire state, and the next one doesn't have. So to that extent, so
Because
it
this is a
commands
safer
value.
property.
It's safer.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? As we get closer to the weekend, let's dive into something that's going to shape the future, and that's tech training that powers innovation. Technology is transforming industries and creating opportunities across Africa, and tech talent is at the heart of this revolution. With the right skills, young people are driving innovation, building startups, and powering the digital economy. So joining us today to discuss the opportunities that tech provides us is David Ogebe, the CEO and founder of House of Heroes Tech, HOH, and Tech Unlock Nigeria Training Academy. With over 8 years of experience in technology project management, David has supported more than 400 startups and SMEs across Africa and globally. He's also working on digital skill training projects with the World Bank and the federal government, all while mentoring the next generation of African entrepreneurs. David, we're thrilled to have you here. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
It was very serious, right?
Is that all me? Really?
yeah,
That
I
accomplished
get that.
all of this?
No, I get that a lot. Like when I had to trim it, but when it's being read, I still get that feeling like, wow,
Really?
is this how far I've come?
Shows how
Right,
well
yeah.
you've done for yourself.
And there's so much more to expect.
Yeah, so much more,
So
especially in
on
this
a lighter
conversation.
note,
Yeah?
did you get the update that Shola gave us this morning? The whole cinema 1,000 naira.
Oh, yes.
slash.
Yes, I
Please,
did.
don't
and
sleep on that.
I'm going to take that, right? It's confirmed, right?
Yeah, it is.
1,000 naira
Oh,
flat
yes,
rate.
it is.
So I'll take that. I have a movie to watch, Wolverine and Deadpool. I've not seen it.
So go with your family and
Yeah.
friends.
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
so let's go straight into the serious topic for today. Today is Friday. Friday is Tech Friday. I want to start the conversation on a very light note. So we've read your bio. We've heard what you're doing. You're very involved in training people in the tech space. And we know what training is today. I mean, she was saying one time in one of our tech programs that today people will just come up and say 10,000 naira to learn UI UX in 3 weeks and start earning $10,000. So it already looks like as if training is a scheme to just make money off people. But we know that there are still people that are putting up tech trainings to actually help people, be impactful, be creative, and be innovative as well. So I wanted you to tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, the inspiration behind it, and how your training so far has helped with fueling people with innovation.
All right, thank you very much. So my name is David Ogebe.
Hi, David.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I'm a technology entrepreneur, the CEO and founder at HOH, House of Heroes. And what we do is we multiply business results using creative technology, and we drive innovation for large organizations. So in two parts, SMEs, startups, companies, then large organizations. And one of the ways we get to do this is through innovative projects. And like you rightly said, very recently we began to implement a project for the federal government and the World Bank to train Nigerian youths to acquire tech skills. And we did it for free. 400 Nigerian youths learned applied artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and cloud computing for free. I've been doing this for the past 8 years. right? And the very interesting part is, how did I get into it? It's a very long story that I don't think we have
The luxury
a lot
of
of
time.
the luxury of time to talk about. But it's been an interesting journey so far, moving from ideation, bootstrapping, startup, and where we are today. The most important part of this conversation is that our training is very well thought. Precisely, the curriculum is directed at Nigerian youth development and African youth development. And the most interesting part of your question is, there's a slogan, there's a slang that says, tech is the new oil. When you talk of boom, we had the oil boom sometime in 90s, please, pardon me. We had the oil boom and everybody rushed into oil and gas. This is somebody who is in the oil and gas sector, you immediately start seeing money all over the person, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how tech is now. And don't be mistaken, yes, there's a lot of money in tech. Technology development, the startups, the investments, there's a lot of money there. And you see a massive influx of youths, even the older generation, come into tech expecting to see some form of, should I say, money. Now it begins to look like tech is a pyramid scheme. What do you call it? MMM, the rest, I want to mention names, right? It's beginning to look like a pyramid scheme, like the guys who were there 10, 20 years ago are the ones making the big buck, and the guys who are just coming out struggling, they get into tech 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, they're back to what they were doing. But it's not really so, right? I'll tell you something about trainings and what to look out for in tech trainings, right? Because like you rightly said, everybody is doing, learn this, get this in 2 seconds, right?
True.
But I'll start with a framework, and I'll give you 4 structures in that framework. First, you look at the curriculum. What does this curriculum offer? What are these guys training? What's their standard? Who's accredited them? Who's partnered with them? What have they done in the past, let's just say 5 years? What does their curriculum say? Accreditations, partnerships, length of time, who builds it is what you should look out for. And once the curriculum is exhaustive, now, you mentioned, is it 10 weeks or 5 days?
2
Please, as much as possible, don't go for those 2 days short course. It's like a short of a dose of drugs. You just take it, and then the next thing you look out for more, right? But look for exhaustive curriculums that are thorough and address a detailed part of the course you want to go for. The second thing you need to look out for is the community, community support. Now, you get into courses, you're in, you do the course, and you're out. You're on your own. No. That's not how it's meant to be. There's meant to be a community support that gives you information, shows you how to move from point A to point B in your career. They give you information, they give you access, there are hangouts that you can benefit from, right? Now, that's about community. Let me know how far I can carry this conversation. But the third thing you need to look out for is the alumni.
Okay.
Who has graduated from this and where do they work? The alumni is very important. You find tech organizations, training programs, and you see the alumni work in very nice, large corporation organizations, corporate organizations, the Microsofts, the MTNs, the Meta, name them. Now that gives me an information that if I go here, there's a likelihood that I'll get somewhere, somewhere good at the end of the day. There's the last framework. I can't really remember now, right? But maybe in the course of the conversation, I will remember. But these are key things you need to look out for before. Oh, fine, I got the last one, certification. What certificates are they offering me at the end of the day? Am I just doing the training? There's what you call on the street Sabi certificate. So you go there, they give you a certificate. You cannot present the certificate anywhere. Yeah, you just keep it in your...
To just be in your mail.
Exactly. So look out for the certificates that come out of that organization. Look out for the accreditation. I mentioned that on the certificate, right? And be sure that that certificate is applicable or you can use it to get your foot into the organization you're looking out for. These are the frameworks you should look out for, essentially. That's a very long introduction.
Very good.
Thank you, David. Thank you for taking your time to walk us through what we should look out for before diving into the tech world. But I want you to, first, let's see this as a reality TV show where we are saying nothing but the truth and only the truth.
Yeah.
We're not trying to quote or sugarcoat something or paint a sweet that's green in color and make it look red. We understand that these things happen. You mentioned accreditation. If it's a university set, we know they will get accreditation from either the federal government, Minister of Education, or the Commissioner, or NLC, or all of that. In the tech world, who are the bodies in Nigeria or outside Nigeria that actually accredit all these teaching schools, tech bro in my street, and who accredits the certificate they're actually dishing out? And of the truth, it is happening. Learn tech in 1 week. Early bird, 62,000 naira. Late ticket, 80,000 naira. In 3 months, they'll teach you online, Telegram channel, post, send all of the PDFs in the world, and it gets buried. No practical training. There are some practical training where they bring in young girls, young boys, secondary school living students, and they just teach them. It feels like computer training. It's no longer tech, and there is a huge difference between tech and computer training. So I need you to tell us now, why is it that let me start from, what bodies in Nigeria or outside Nigeria actually are in charge of accrediting tech schools, tech bodies, and the certificates?
So there are quite a number of accreditation bodies in Nigeria. I'll just mention one, right? NSQF, National Skills Qualification, I've forgotten the last word, right? That body is recognized by Nigeria, and certifications that come out of that body are recognized, not just in Nigeria, but Africa, all right? So organizations that move into tech or that want to, not just tech, but skills training should look for an NSQF certification. That is very important. It is recognized. And if I don't want to go outside the shores of Nigeria or Africa, but if your training certificate does not have that recognized accreditation, then it means you're not just training or you're not doing the right thing. It means you're just giving, like I said earlier, SABI certificate, right? You also talked on something really important. I'll just deviate a bit from the certification because I'll talk about some American certification bodies that you should look out for as well. But trainings in tech are usually misconceived, right? People, Nigerians, let's be honest, Nigerian youths believe I go in there, I learn, and the tutor is meant to do every single thing for me. And I draw down from my experience, right? I didn't learn everything I learned from the classroom because, of course, I started hands-on before I built a team and built a company, right? I didn't learn everything from the classroom. I learned a bit. But there's something called development. You take it back home and you practice. You put what you've learned in a classroom to practice. You look for free gigs, you look for opportunities here, you look for ways to build your portfolios. And one of the best ways to do that now for tech talents is internship projects, free internships. Offer your skills, go to companies, look for projects, look for teams to collaborate with. Look, I'm a front-end developer, I'm a product manager. Is there a project I can get my hands on, right? Most people don't give it that approach. They just want to, I'm certified, pay me 500K or 1 million naira. It doesn't work that way. You need to develop yourself. Now, there's a difference between training and coursework, all right? Some part of what you've said is basically coursework, theories, you learn the background, you know what the whole scope, history of that particular program is. For example, let's call it back-end development. Where did it start? 19, whatever. A training is different from a coursework. A training is meant to get you ready for the job market or for entrepreneurship. So any training you go for and you're seeing, or first of all, read the curriculum. When you're registering, when you're signing up, read the curriculum. If all you see is theories, you learn this, the history of this, introduction to that, ladies and gentlemen, run, okay? A training is meant to prepare you hands-on. Do they have, how many hours are dedicated to practical? How many hours for classroom work? What labs do you provide? what materials you provide. How long is this training, for example, practical, going to be? So by the time you make this assessment, you know whether you're just going for a talk show or you're going to get your hands dirty. All right? So like I mentioned, once you assess and you say that it is worth it, then you attend the training. But don't leave it 100% to what the training provides. By your own self, go back. Develop yourself. Do the practicals. Look for opportunities that you can put, get your hands dirty. Look for projects. And that's the best way to get in apprenticeship programs as well, mentorship. So the Igbo, I don't know who you guys are. So the apprenticeship system is becoming quite popular in tech. Okay, it's not 7 years. Say 7 years.
It takes as long as
it's
7 years.
You serve a master.
Yeah.
No. In tech, it's not 7 years. You don't serve a master, but it's an apprenticeship program where you are there live. You see how it's happening. You attend meetings. You see how your boss or your supervisor handles pressure. How does he handle timelines? How does he respond to emails? How does he respond to escalation? You see it firsthand and you learn on the job. So when he transfers work to you, you know exactly how to respond. That's the...
I'd like us to take a very short break. I wanted to ask a question, but after God's beauty, after the short break, we'll continue the conversation.
Right.
So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. All right, viewers, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It's still Friday and we're talking about tech trainings that powers innovation. And we have a trailblazer in the house, somebody who is very skilled, knowledgeable to help us through this critical conversation. So over to God's you wanted to ask a question?
Okay, so I love talking about my country, right? So speaking up to the topic, when technology and innovation comes together, what's in for us as Nigerians? If we bring technology into the different sectors we have here in Nigeria, right, what's in for us? How do we even go about it? Because, everybody knows this. Our government, they are too busy for us, understand? So we individuals, we need to start putting our hands on deck. We need to start doing something. So how do we go about it? What's the advantage and what's the future looking like?
Okay, so I'll just do a throwback very quickly, real quick,
All right.
on how technology powers different sectors.
Let's go.
Yeah, so back in 2002, I don't know how many of us were born then, or 2000.
We're all born there, come on.
All right, so sometime back in 2002, you walk into a banking room, you want to get your money over the counter, they hand you over a piece of paper, right? You stand on queue, maybe I'm number 195, and by 4 o'clock they tell me, sorry, bank has to close, you come back tomorrow. So we come back tomorrow and the queue starts from maybe 109. So there were long queues in the bank, right? And a set of individuals thought, hey, let's bring tech into this process of, the bank teller process. And they conceived the idea of installing the ATM machines, giving out the cards, and drastically you could see that queues reduced in the bank.
Yeah.
The birth of ATM cards and machines came. And you've seen over time, that's the fintech industry. Over time, that industry has evolved. And everything today, on your phone now, you can just... when last did you carry cash? 50K?
No, it's been long.
It's been long.
Exactly. So we are all using mobile money, right? So that's a typical example of how technology can power a sector. This is the fintech sector that got it right. So imagine or think of technology as a catalyst, as an enabler for every single sector. All right. Now let's move to the health sector. You have a baby in your womb, maybe very soon, and you want to know the gender of the baby. I've had that experience before. You go into the lab, they put some gel on your...
You've had the experience or your wife, because...
I've had the experience of watching.
Okay, it was quite funny.
All right, so
Yeah.
they put some gel on your tummy, they put some ballish looking like stuff, and they just roll the ball over the stomach. And you get to see the baby move. I saw my son, right,
that's
kicking. I did a 4D scan and I could see his face before he was born.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's tech enabling the health sector, right? Now you find this happening in agriculture, education, creative technology. We're all using these devices here. Social media management, that's creative technology. I mean, that's part of what we do also at HOH, social media management. So you see tech powering several sectors, and it gets better. But these sectors have not been fully, the enablement has not been fully optimized, especially when you look at the African scene. One, in terms of cost. To get the 4D scan done, you know how much it's going to cost you in Nigeria and Africa, or how many people can even access that in Africa. Go to Europe is almost very popular. So what we're trying to do is to see how Africa can play more in this scene, not just in one sector like the fintech, but in several sectors, and how tech can enable these sectors to become better. Agriculture, for example. If we had technology a lot in agriculture, some things wouldn't happen as we speak. How much is a tuber of yam now?
Depends on the
Over
size.
Depends on
But
the
it should be from
size.
around 3,000.
8,800 to 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those ones will be as small as a pencil now.
Yeah. So it depends
Pencil
on the
yam,
size.
let's call it pencil yam, right? So if you find technology in agriculture, which is beginning to become quite popular, you see that it cuts down a lot of loss, it cuts down a lot of unseen or unforeseen loops here and there, and the sector just thrives automatically. So that's just a typical example of how technology can power several sectors. It's still an ongoing process, but slowly and steadily as we begin to upskill Nigerians to play big in these sectors. Okay, I'll just end by a story. So in our training academy, a guy came with me, man, if I say this here, somebody might run with it, but ideas are free, you can take it, right? So he came to me with a very brilliant idea. So plants in the farm have, they have these diseases that you just see, what anthrax, different things, the leaves just, and he came up with an idea, an AI scan. So I use my phone, my mobile phone, scan the diseased leaf or diseased plant. It scans it based on trained data. It tells me what disease this is, what solution there is, where I can get the solution in Nigeria. And it helps farmers to just treat pests, diseases in their farm and cut down these losses. That's just a small, tiny tip of the iceberg example of how technology can power the agricultural sector, top of all the other sectors. All right, so ball back to you.
So I was going to say something.
Okay.
You've really made this very clear. It seems as though tech has hacked more into the fintech space than other sectors in Nigeria. I think so. I mean, you're mentioning the agriculture. I don't think it's very practicable right now in Nigeria. I mean, like 100% fully optimized as such. So the topic is addressing innovation with tech training. And we know innovation is about, problem solving, creativity, bringing up solutions that are actually going to help us. Like she mentioned, our country is in dire need of all this help. So do you think that these tech trainings actually position young people to be more innovative? Or is it just a scheme? I don't want to use the word scheme again. Sometimes I feel some people take up this tech training to have a job that can just meet their needs. But that innovation seems to be stifled. Nobody is thinking of doing something very remarkable, I think. I might be wrong, but how is tech training helping people? What kind of projects are they giving to people to ensure that our innovation is running on, fully optimized speed, to ensure that we have creative solutions, we're solving problems, we're entering into sectors that have not even been tapped?
Okay, thank you. quite frankly, you're correct. I don't want to, when I start talking about these things, I can go on and on. The fintech sector is really
Fully tapped.
not fully, but a lot of people are fintech. It's good because money is the cocoa. Everybody likes to know where their money is, right? So that's why we see a massive influx in the fintech, but there are other sectors to look at. Now, when we went into a partnership with the federal government and the World Bank, one of the problems we saw was that in Nigeria, what's the population? Should be going for 300 million now, 50 to 300. We have the resources. We have the youths. It is not a lack of jobs problem. I think we talked about it at some point. It's not that there are no jobs in Nigeria. If not, tell me, go to the international airport, go to Victoria Island, you see a lot of Chinese, you see Indians, you see them here. They are not jobless, are they?
No, they're not.
They have work that they are doing here in Nigeria. And you see them coming, just like we are going. Many of them are coming. So what are they seeing in Nigeria that the youths are not seeing? All right? So it is not a lack of jobs syndrome that we face in Nigeria. What we face is a lack of skill. It will amaze you to know that in our company, sometimes there are roles that are open, and you keep going from one CV to another CV, and you can't find qualified hands to fit into these roles. So that was what initiated the partnership, and we said, let's go on a massive upskilling of Nigerians to fit into these roles. Now, these roles evolve. 20 years ago, if I studied business admin or typewriting, I'll be 1,000 words per minute, I'll be a superstar. But now it's obsolete. These roles keep evolving. You have cloud computing, cloud architect. You have blockchain technology. Are Nigerians positioned to take up these roles in large organizations? No. So back to your question. How can Nigerians play in this scene? So our program, or what we do at our academy, is not just train to get a job, all right? We also have innovation programs that we had a pitch event a couple of weeks back, a business pitching event. Now, these are trainees who have determined that they have an idea that can power a sector. Even though they didn't win in the pitch, one of the most brilliant ideas I see rising is in the space of cybersecurity. A lot of us use mobile devices. We need to be secure online. And so they're bringing up innovative ideas in cybersecurity, how people can lose less of their monies online or not be scammed online with all this, Yahoo and all the rest. So you find people coming up with ideas from these platforms. So while we encourage them, get a skill, we give you an internship project, you get a job, we also encourage innovation. While you're training yourself in this field, these are the opportunities. And very recently, we partnered. So let me give you the funnel. Okay. I'll close with this. The funnel is we take these talents raw, right? We train them, put them through projects, certify them, put them, the ones who want to go into entrepreneurship, put them in incubation programs in different sectors. We partner with another organization that can take these ideas, the MVPs, and fund it to become the next Money Point, the next Paystack, the next Piggy Vest.
We're going to fintech again.
You see?
We're going to fintech
Thrive
again.
Thrive Agric, if you've heard of Thrive Agric.
I want to hear more of that in agriculture, in health.
E-Health Africa. All right, so...
Sorry.
So we bring these talents, incubate them, hand them over to the accelerator programs. The accelerator programs fund them to become the next Bloom Care Health. All right, so it's not just fintech now, as we see. So it's a full cycle, and we partner with a lot of organizations and accelerator programs to be able to achieve this, right? The idea is the more Nigerians we can upskill, the more of them that can be relevant, and the more value they can add to the country, right? And the more the country gets better. So that's the full cycle. I hope I've exhaustively answered that question.
Interesting. We're talking about training and we're talking about innovation. I saw somewhere this week that this week is National Coding Week. It started since Monday and it's been up and running. And you agree with me that coding is like now the new trend among tech bros. Oh, can you code? Oh, yes, I can do X, Y, X, Y. Kira, this. Now, how long does it take one to actually learn how to code properly? Because yes, it's training. Learn how to code 101, pay 50K. How long does it take for a starter, let's say a starter pack? How many months the starter pack to learn how to train, to learn how to code rather? And then what's the future of coding? Because everybody keeps coding. Why exactly are they coding? What is the future of coding? Because I think this year's theme was focused on modern world coding, which says the focus on artificial intelligence. So what's the future and what's the starter pack to learn how to code properly?
This question you've asked is still in the town hall argument of tech, right?
Love it.
Now, people, a lot of experts online will say coding will become obsolete. The likes of ChatGPT, you can just type some, and it will give you some codes. Some people say no, you cannot just use AI to code. You need to get into the nitty-gritty and be able to. So it's still, like I said, it's still an argument at the town hall meeting. But I can't, outrightly say this is how long it's going to take you to learn how to code. Coding is a progressive process. It is. It evolves. If a new language is not coming out today, there is a new way of coding. If a new way of coding is not coming out tomorrow, there's something just comes up. And that's one thing that happens in tech. You need to keep evolving, right? But what I'll say is coding is just one channel. It's just one channel into tech. And I had this conversation a couple of days back. Coding is just one. So Nigerians, if you want to learn how to code, please give it time. Don't look for, like I said, don't look for the quick burst, 2 weeks, 5 weeks. No. Coding is if you've ever interacted with a coder, they are weird people. They stay overnight. When they can be sleeping like this, and they wake up and go to code. So it's not something that you say 5 weeks, I've learned how to code, I'm a tech bro, I can code. No. Give it time. And I won't say 5 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever. But again, if you want to go ahead.
No, please go ahead. I was going to ask, just to chip in. You said there's every probability that it will go obsolete, which means soon to come, just like newspaper is no longer the thing in the media world, coding will no longer be a thing in the tech world, which means people should not learn more of coding because it might actually go into exile, go into extinction.
No, not that it will go into exile. They will find new ways to code because the world is moving very digital with Internet of Things. How will these things be powered? They'll be powered through codes, right? AI can build these codes, right?
Yeah.
Human beings also can build these codes. AI can do it a bit faster. Who trains the AI?
Human beings.
Human beings. How is the data trained? How is the AI trained? Through data. Who gathers this data? Human beings. There is always coding one way or the other. So while coding makes the job easier for the average developer, there is someone at the back end still making it easier for the end user. That person still codes.
Now it makes sense.
Do you understand?
It's like 1 out of 10.
It always evolves, and there is always a human being powering it at the back end. So I don't think it will ever go out of phase. It will only evolve to something much different, easier, but it will still have that original skill. You still need that original skill of understanding codes and writing them.
Thank you.
All right, then we have just a very few minutes left. So, God's Beauty, you wanted to ask a question. You have to be very fast about it.
Okay, so it wasn't even a question, right? I just wanted to say that, is there any other, let's look at the future because, we have now and we are seeing things and I like the way you guys are talking about the code whole thing. So what training do you think needs to be done looking at the future that we need to, start working on in order for the future to probably be better,
Sorry, to add to that, because I want you to
actually
take everything.
We're
going to have a master class soon.
Mention the top 5 tech skills or tech sectors that have future. Real future. Yes, we're growing.
You are considering this tech career, so you want to
know I am considering it.
It's the future, yeah. So if you don't work on it now, it's going to be a problem.
I need to know the one that 5 years to come, they're still on top of their game. Even when Nigeria is the entire tech world is getting better and better every day, it still won't go down the list.
Are you talking of sectors or skills?
Anyone. Mention the skills or the sector, but just like the top 5.
Skills, actually.
Then wrap it up with explaining more, because you mentioned it briefly the other time, something about mentorship, right?
Okay.
I think mentorship in Nigeria in different sectors can be quite a Herculean task, as they say. So how can people really take the full benefit of mentorship. Sometimes it's even difficult to find someone who can mentor you in the first place. Sometimes very difficult. I mean, you can go through your LinkedIn looking for who can mentor you, and then they do not reply to your messages. So, what advice would you give for starters or people who want to be more innovative? Advice to getting a good mentor.
How many minutes do I have to answer
About
this?
3 minutes. I
Whoa,
don't know.
okay,
Or 2
I'll
minutes.
move with speed. So sectors, fintech sector is really where people play a lot, right? But I wouldn't say this is a sector, this is a sector. I'll say these are the skills to be able to operate very well in any sector. So AI, machine learning, that's one. Cybersecurity, in no particular order, cybersecurity, blockchain technology, 5G technology, and blockchain technology. Those are things. So why I'm saying this is because in the past, we say 10 years ago, if you're a back-end developer, there's some skills that if you learned at that time, now you'll be the big boss. Those skills are quite popular now. These skills I've mentioned are not really popular. So if you get into that field, in the next 10 years, you'll be highly relevant. So these are the top 5 you should look out for. I'll just say it again: AI, ML, cybersecurity, blockchain technology, 5G, internet, and what was the last one I said? Cloud engineering. Okay. Right. So that's the 5 skills you should be looking out for. And then to address the question about mentorship and apprenticeship, mentorship. So people often misconstrue mentorship, right? I am a product of very good mentorship. My mentor was, or is, I still have a mentor. He is someone who is objective, and he has mentored other people who have fallen by the way. Yeah, so it's a two-way thing. The mentee has to be willing and ready. The mentor has to be available. And most people, wrapping up, most people often misconstrue some 3 very key elements: a mentor, a sponsor, and a coach. Okay. Some people expect that, let's call it CMS, right? Some people expect that I go to my mentor every day. Oh, teach me how to do this, teach me how to do that. No, that's not the work of a mentor. That's a coach. Oh, you know all these things, so I don't need to go over it again, right? You know who a sponsor is, I don't need to go over all that. But a mentor is someone who is objective. And the mentee has more of the work to play in willingness, availability, and being objective as to what he or she wants to get out of the mentorship. Now, it's a very complex process that I can't explain here. But if you want to get a mentor, look out for a mentor. Just look at the ladder you're climbing. Who are the people who are there, right? Who are the people who have achieved the things you want to achieve by yourself? And then objectively go out there and ask for the person. Or you ask for somebody who can refer you to the person. Yes.
I know that we cannot touch. I still want to ask something, but we have to wrap it up here. This is where we draw the curtains. It has been a very insightful 1 hour, and this is kind of conversation that you need a part 2 for. So who knows? Probably next week, Friday, we might revisit this. Stay with us next week, Mondays to Friday. It's Ways Breakfast by 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Osayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?